Mr. Scalise.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a disservice to the American people that this committee has not held a public hearing to discuss the specific components of this cap-and-trade energy tax that will be the most dramatic overhaul of America's energy economy in our lifetime, a bill that will ship millions of American jobs overseas and cost each and every American family more than $1,300 on average in increased utility costs. To make this point very clear, the details of this 932-page bill were just unveiled to the members of this committee over the weekend, and very few members of the committee have had a chance to read the bill in its entirety, much less review the complex nature of each section of the bill. The American people expect and deserve more, especially at a time when we were promised transparency and instead are now being presented with a bill that is the product of secretive backroom deals and special interest trading. No one denies that if this bill passes, millions of American jobs will be shipped to countries like China, India, and Brazil, while American families will pay thousands more in increased utility costs. Let me say this again. No one denies that if this bill passes, millions of American jobs will be shipped to foreign countries, while American families will pay thousands more in increased utility costs. According to President Obama's own budget director, the average household cost increase would be about $1,300 annually. Even President Obama has acknowledged that his cap-and-trade energy tax will lead to higher electricity rates when he said, under my plan of a cap-and-trade system, electricity rates would necessarily skyrocket. And just a couple of weeks ago, the current CBO director testified before the Senate that a cap-and-trade program would lead to higher prices for energy and energy-intensive goods. And to add insult to great injury, the foreign countries that will take our jobs are countries that have no intention of capping their carbon emissions. This bill creates big winners and big losers. The big losers are American families and small businesses. And make no mistake about this, the big winners are countries like China and India who are chomping at the bit to take our jobs. Other big winners are the same Wall Street speculators who brought our country's financial markets to near collapse and who stand to gain billions in new profits by creating a trading scheme for these carbon credits. Instead of shipping millions of jobs overseas and killing our energy economy, Congress should support an all-of-the-above national energy policy that will create American jobs, reduce our dependence on Middle Eastern oil, and promote alternative sources of energy like wind, solar, and nuclear. Along with many of my colleagues, I'm proud to be a co-sponsor of H.R. 2300, the American Energy Innovation Act. This legislation takes this all-of-the-above approach, and the net effect of our comprehensive energy plan will result in lower carbon emissions because American jobs in manufacturing will not be shipped to foreign countries like China that have lower environmental standards than our own here in America. Perhaps a cap-and-trade energy tax would place the United States economy at a distinct competitive disadvantage because it would place additional costs on American manufacturers and cede market shares to overseas competitors that are not subject to limits on greenhouse gas emissions. What this bill will do is redistribute wealth from American families and businesses to special interests handpicked by Washington politicians. There is a better way to do this. Let's create jobs using this American Energy Innovation Act, not send jobs to China. This common sense solution will be presented as an alternative to the cap-and-trade energy tax. Rather than ship American jobs overseas, let's create good American jobs here in America. Rather than strengthen OPEC's hold on world oil supply, let's open up innovation here in America and reduce our dependence on Middle Eastern oil. And rather than raising every American family's utility rates, let's advance the alternative sources of energy like wind, solar, and nuclear power that will help families lower our utility bills. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Scalise.